Hi, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of Brunch and Banter. Now, this is part 2 of our previous one. We left off on fad diets. We went through, I felt like it was a pretty in-depth
timeline
definition, timeline, kind of how everything went from early in the 1980s to recently now. And we didn't realize I was going to take most of our episode.
We didn't realize we were going to get real chatty about it.
Yeah. It was only supposed to be 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's no surprise because, talking about diets, I think a lot of people can really get in depth about it.
Yes.
And a lot of people have lots to say. And I think that will bring us into our next point, where if you are not a health professional, I don't think you should just be giving out advice. Yes, you can say this is what helped me, lose X amount of weight. But a lot of people will take that and
Run with it
for themselves. And you never know if it will, work for you or can make things worse. And you don't know if what they're doing can be dangerous.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will say, this is what works for me. These are the calories that I use. You should go to your doctor and see what works for you and how you should break down your calories.
Yes.
So a lot of people do say that. Some people do not, unfortunately. Some people just give out their advice and kind of tell people to try out what they're doing and see if it works for them. And I don't think you should do that because you never know what could happen to your body. You could have some allergy that you don't know about and it breaks out. Your body could not tolerate the food that you're going to eat or the way you will eat, more like it.
And not even that. It's also too where another video that I saw, I forgot to tell you about. I saw this guy. I believe he's from Texas, but he is, I believe, around 300 and something pounds. And his mission is to get 10,000 steps a day. But then he saw a video on David Grogan. I forget how to pronounce his last name.
I wouldn't know.
Saying that people only apply 40% of themselves or their brain to their everyday lives. So he said, if I applied 100% of myself, in quotation marks, okay, to working out, then I would be more successful, as a question, so he was testing his limits. Well, this man walked, I believe, 8 miles one day.
Ouch.
I know. And that's already a lot for a 300-pound man. And so with this advice that David Grogan was giving, he said, I'm now going to apply 100% of myself. And with that, in turn, he said he needed to walk 20 miles. Now, 20 miles in Texas heat? Definitely not advised to do because I believe he only made it about 11 miles before he had to call for help. He saw a random car and he flagged them down and he passed out in their car. He said that he thinks he might have had a heat stroke, but he's not sure. But it's not even that. He could have had
a heart
attack.
Yep.
Just because you see something online doesn't mean you have to do it. Don't take it to the extreme. Don't just take people's advice for what it is because it's not always going to work. It can kill you if you're not, certain that your body can handle it.
Yep. That's exactly why you should never do what others are doing. You should always talk to your doctor first. This is kind of what happened with the whole Biggest Loser thing too. They were making them work out for all these hours and barely eat. But somebody who is at that point of their life where it costs them a lot just to walk around to go to the freaking bathroom.
Yeah.
And on top of that, having to work out for hours a day, walk for hours a day for that guy who was trying to walk 20 miles, that's a lot for your body at the weight that you're at.
Yeah.
You can't stress out your body like that because it's just going to shut down and you're going to end up in the hospital or even worse.
In the grave, 6 feet under.
Yep.
Which we don't want that to happen.
No.
Usually you're going through this journey because you're trying to better yourself. And like they always say, you didn't gain the weight overnight, so you're not going to lose it overnight. It's a very slow journey if you do it the right way.
Honestly, if you just get up and you go to the gym, you don't actually work out, you just go, hey, you went further than yesterday.
Yeah. Even if you only made it to the parking lot.
Yeah, the next time you go, you'll make it inside the door. You'll make it to the actual areas, you know?
I will say I've been there, I've done that. Like me and Kyle, we used to go to the gym in Michigan. And I remember we would drive into the parking lot and just sit there. And I'd be like waiting, I'm like, does he really want to go in there? Is he just going to say, you know what, we should just leave and go eat some Chick-fil-A? And then we always went in there though.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's days that you just like, you'll just go into the gym, you'll maybe do 10 minutes of working out, and you're just like, "You know what? I'm not into this. I'm going home." Which happens, honestly. So if you
Yeah.
don't make it to a full workout, that's fine. You made it further than what you were gonna intend to do anyway with your day, so that's something to look forward to.
In the end, it's not really like about motivation or anything. It's all about discipline.
Yep.
Like, even the most fittest people in the world have days where they don't want to go to the gym. They just don't. But you have to power through, and then you go and you feel good.
Yeah. I think also, like, sometimes, like, you don't wanna do it, and it's motivation is only gonna get you so far. Most of
Yeah.
the time, it's, like, discipline and determination that's gonna get you like, past that little bump when you're no longer
Yeah.
motivated. And on top of that, you see yourself in the mirror every day, you don't see a difference. People might see a difference, like, people who don't see you every single day will see a difference, but
Yeah.
you yourself, you don't see the difference because we are our own worst enemy.
Mhm. And that's why
But
we take progress pictures.
and not focus on a scale. And I see how this podcast is not turning into what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, I know.
So let's cut it here. Let's go back to what we're talking about. So Nana, tell us about that video
Yeah.
that you saw where the girl was talking about calorie cycling or whatever.
Yes. So I came across this video. This was probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now,
Yeah.
where this is how they always get you. They put these titles on these videos saying like, I lost 50 pounds in 70 days. I think that's what the video was. Or I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. You're like, oh yeah, a pound a day? Heck yeah.
Hell no.
But most people think, oh, yeah, that's great. I want to lose a pound a day, which is kind of dangerous. Your hair will fall off, in case you guys didn't know.
A pound a week, guys. A pound a week, 2 max.
Yes. If you're on the bigger side, you can lose more.
At the beginning only.
Yes, natural to lose more in the beginning, but it kind of will even itself out. But this girl, she had said that she lost 50 pounds in 70 days. So that's 50 pounds in about, 2.5 months?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, think about it. That's like almost 20 pounds per month.
Dang, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So she was almost losing a pound a day. And so she claims that she lost this weight through calorie cycling. Now, I don't know. Did we go into calorie cycling last?
No, we didn't talk about it. I said we were going to talk about it this time, though.
Okay. So this is the advice that she's giving. She never claims that she's not a health professional. She claims that she follows this program by this man. I don't remember what his name was, but she says that what they would do is she would have her feast days and her fast days. But before that, she says that the way that they plan out like how they're going to feast and fast is like how aggressive the program that they're going to do is you either choose from a 10-day, I guess, week, not a week because a week is 7 days, but they work in 10-day increments.
Yeah.
And so from the 10 days, she would choose either 4 or 5 days that she would fast. And she wanted to do it more aggressively. So she chose 5. And out of those 10 days, she was basically eating every other day and fasting every other day. So she had her feast days and her fast days. On her feast days, she said that she would eat to her maintenance calories. And on her fast days, she didn't eat at all, but she was allowed to consume 250 calories, but they had to be liquid calories.
250?
Yeah. Technically speaking, scientifically, you could eat up to 500 calories and still be considered fasting, but it's not like a true fast. So she makes it sound like, oh, wow, that's great. Oh, I could eat every other day, whatever I want. And then the day after that, I just fast all day and then I can eat whatever I want up to my maintenance calories. Well, that's not what she was saying. So she said that for her breakfast, she wanted to have a very carb heavy breakfast. And for lunch, she would usually prioritize protein. And then for dinner, she says for dinner, she didn't want her body digesting a lot of food. So she thinks that for dinner, you should not have any protein. Well, at least in her opinion, she said that she didn't want to eat any protein. And she says that usually for dinner, sometimes she would just have like a small bowl of fruit or like a smoothie or a juice or something. And she even went as far as to say that she did not want to go to sleep digesting her food and wanted to have her dinner at the latest 4 p.m. so that by the time bedtime came, her body was already done digesting and she would obviously be beginning her fasting process onto the next day of no eating.
Damn.
Now, in my opinion, I don't think it really matters what you eat for dinner. I feel
Mhm.
like people should not be concerned that, oh my gosh, my body is digesting food while I'm sleeping. Like, obviously, it's not recommended to eat, I think it's an hour before bed.
Yeah, I think so. I had a quesadilla last night before I went to bed.
Oh, I've eaten plenty of times right before bed. Like, I'll have a snack or something. But it's not terrible for your body to be digesting food. Like, if you think about it, your body is technically always digesting food.
I know they say, like, it slows down a little bit when we, like, are sleeping because 'cause we're, like, more
Yeah, because even your heartbeat slows down. Yeah.
slowed. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, if you slow your breathing down, eventually you will fall asleep.
Yeah, like it relaxes you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, she's really kind of giving dangerous advice because you never know. Like a 14-year-old girl could find that video and she's like, oh my gosh, like I can't have dinner past
Mhm,
4 p.m. And then, like, think about it. She's in school. She gets out of school maybe 3 p.m. and then gets
mhm.
home by 4. And she's like, oh, can't have dinner. Like, that's dangerous.
See, and I was telling Nana, to me, calorie cycling is more like you have refeed days where you eat a little bit more calories, but it's because you're a little bit more active that day. Like, say you train, by train, I mean like work out. You train, I don't know, 4 or 5 days out of the week. On those 4 or 5 days, you have a higher calorie intake to help sustain yourself. On the days that you don't train, which is like your lighter days, you don't eat as much, but not like 500 calories. I mean, like maybe you eat 1800 on your refeed days, which are your training days, and then you eat like 16 or 1500 on your technically rest days. So that at the end of the
Yeah.
week, your calories kind of just are at a good level. You're not
Yeah.
forcibly not eating.
I agree. I mean, you definitely can fast for that long. I'm not saying it's bad to. I just think that she definitely took it to an extreme.
Mhm.
And I think that that person, whoever created the program, kind of took it to an extreme
Oh, yes.
because there are definitely safer ways to do calorie cycling for
Yes.
sure.
So, like, I kinda looked it up while you were talking. What are some of the risks that could come from this? And what I looked up was calorie cycling meaning, and then I said, "Is fasting involved?" And it says, "Not necessarily, but you could make it involved." And then I said, "I heard some people do fasting for 5 days out of 10 with calorie, cycle. Is this okay?" And it says, "It's okay, but it's not sustainable."
Yeah.
Some of the risks are, like I said, sustainability. It's not something you could do forever. You can get nutrient deficiencies, such as like your micronutrients, which are all your vitamins, also your electrolytes and your proteins can be affected. Muscle loss. Without the adequate amount of protein, you will lose your muscle.
Yes.
Hormonal stress. Your body will go into stress and you can get medical conditions from this. Or, I mean, it could lead to medical conditions such as blood pressure,
Mhm.
eating disorders, stuff like that.
Yeah, I did wanna say, another thing that she did do is, like, she didn't say it clearly, but it's kind of the impression I was getting. She said that, she could still obviously, like, go out and enjoy herself with her friends. That she said that she never had to say no to drinking, and so it almost made it sound to where if she had a day where she was fasting, she would still go out drinking and choose lower calorie drinks. But in my head, I'm, like, ringing the alarm bells. I'm like, "Whoa, you're drinking, but you're not eating."
Mhm.
The alcohol is gonna be way stronger on an empty
Yep.
stomach. Like, that is so dangerous.
Yep. Because you don't know what can happen out there. I'd rather be satiated with my food and have 1, 2 drinks max, and enjoy myself than be starving, because that's how I would be if I was fasting, starving and have 2 drinks and be super drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just kinda wanted to talk about that because Nana had seen it, and I felt like that was something we could talk about just to bring awareness to the fact that not everything that everybody says should be followed.
Yeah. It's what is it? Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think so.
You never know. You just don't wanna ruin yourself.
Yes, because let me just say, once you ruin your metabolism and all that stuff, it's kinda hard to bring that stuff back into their correct way of working.
Yeah, cause like, even when you're in a calorie deficit, you have to take breaks because you have to let
Mhm,
your body stop freaking out because technically you're in a I think it's fight or flight or you have high cortisol levels can
mhm.
come from it because your body isn't getting, like, enough, but obviously, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're trying to lose weight. So that you should take a break every so often just to kind of let your body relax, and then you can go back onto a deficit after, like, a
Yeah, that's
month or
what me
so.
and Nana kinda talked about when we first talked about this girl, how a lot of times what I have done in the past and what a cousin of ours or uncle has also mentioned to me is to do, like, a calorie cycle where you have your deficit for, let's say, 3 months, and then you have your maintenance calories for another month, and then you go back into your deficit. You just kinda flip-flop back and forth just so that your body kinda, is able to relax and not be stressed out thinking that you're not eating enough.
Yeah. Who are we to give medical advice?
Yeah. Now, that saying that, I'm not saying go and do that, I'm not saying don't do it, I'm saying that's what I do.
Take it from me as someone with a degree in nutrition.
Don't just come and freaking start following everything we're saying. Go talk to your doctor, ask them if that's okay first. And if you don't
Yes.
talk to your doctor, honestly, just do your research at least, do some research.
Yeah.
So, back on the subject of calories and dieting and stuff, and not about weights that we were
Yes.
talking about earlier. Why do we fall for them? Why do we fall for these things that we see online, these promises that we see and everything?
Because it's a quick fix.
Yeah, we all just want that quick fix. We want to get the results, we wanna see them now. If we could, we would see them yesterday, but we can't do that because we can't travel to the past.
Sadly, we can't go back in the past and be like, "Put that cupcake down, Shannon."
Yeah, Shannon.
I don't know who Shannon is, but
If your
sorry.
name is Shannon, I'm just kidding. Also, a lot of, people get influenced by social media,
Oh, yes.
celebrities.
A really big thing too that was going around on the YouTube world was people were eating like a certain celebrity, like, for a day or for a week.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta remember too, these celebrities, they have their own freaking cooks and everything, so they
Yes,
don't
they
even
do.
half of them, I don't know if all of them do, but half of them probably don't cook it themselves. They have their own nutritionist probably.
Yeah. Especially when they are famous for their body, and with that, I'm meaning, like, people like Kim Kardashian.
Oh, yeah.
Or I guess the Kardashians in general, except for I think it's Chloe who has been
Oh,
putting in
yes, I
work
think
at
so.
the gym, and people are, like, really proud of her because she's not I mean, I'm not gonna say, but I don't think Kim Kardashian is natural.
She's not natural. I know she's not natural. Nobody has hips like that with, like, little skinny legs.
Nope.
I've heard of people who get is it a BBL where they transfer fat to the back?
Oh, yeah, to the butt?
Yeah. I've heard of people who get those and then they go and, like, do a bunch of, like, I don't know, Stairmaster, running, and stuff like that, a lot of cardio, and then it goes away because, you know what
It's just
happens when you
fat.
work out and, you have fat in places?
You burn fat.
Yes. So don't get a BBL if you're gonna go and do a bunch of cardio. You're just gonna waste your money. Or you could just work out on your glutes and your, hip abductors and stuff like that, and you could just build a really nice physique. You
Yeah.
won't get the BBL effect, but you'll look freaking amazing.
You would look good for your own frame.
Yes, and you'll look more natural than getting procedures done.
Yeah. I do hear putting on muscle is just as hard as losing weight, because you have to eat in a surplus.
Oh, yes.
And you can't slack because your body needs the extra calories to form, the extra muscle and even the fat that you'd be putting on.
And you have to eat kinda clean too, you can't do a dirty bulk because you'll just put on more fat than muscle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can't control where the fat goes, but you can
No.
control where you build muscle, so.
Yes, but you can't control losing fat in certain areas.
No, you cannot.
So, people who were back in the day saying, "Oh, do this and you'll end up getting, like, I don't know, freaking you'll lose all this back fat or something," and I'm like, "Actually, that's not how it works," but okay.
Yes. There was one that was claiming that you could get abs in 2 weeks.
Oh god.
But you know what you can control? You can control what you put in your mouth.
You know how hard it is to show abs and to show them for a long time because your body has to pretty much cling to your muscle. Your skin has
Yeah.
to pretty much cling to your muscle to show the outlines of those abs. So a lot of people who are in fit expo shows where they like do the bodybuilding shows,
Yes.
there a lot of them will not drink water for like a day or so to
Oh, I've
show
seen
off the
that.
muscle. So, it's not sustainable. And I heard my friend who did, like, stuff like that, and she's like, "Dude, I was always hungry."
I've seen this guy do it where they're basically, like, eating very little,
Mhm.
no water, and you can start to see, especially in men, because women, it's harder for you to show muscle because women carry more fat than men, and that's
Naturally.
just natural because of
Anatomy.
that, and
Baby, childbearing stuff.
yes.
We see, look at it, we finish each other's sentences.
Oh my gosh, are we, like, soulmates? Soul sisters!
Sister. Okay, anyway.
So yeah, like for girls, it's just like harder to be able to show abs. And like recently, I saw a post of a girl who was like, I can't get rid of this like small little tiny belly I have on my lower abdomen. And I'm like, well, that's there to literally protect your uterus. And I'm like, you really can't get rid of that because it's just there for protection.
Yep. And then, like, on top of that, like, as a female, you go through a lot of hormonal stuff throughout your month because, cycles of blood gushing out of you and stuff. All that fun stuff. TMI, I know. Um, and then I think I remember, too, it's an old wives' tale. My grandma would always be like, "Oh, aren't you scared that you're just gonna, like, I don't know how to say in English, but in Spanish is se te va a caer la matriz from, like, exerting yourself. So pretty much your matriz, I think, is like
Your
your
uterus.
yeah, I think so. So she was, like, saying that my uterus was gonna fall because of how heavy I'm lifting.
I think at that point, she probably might be thinking that you'd get a hernia.
No, she literally said it in Spanish, "Se te va a caer la matriz." I think it's an old wives' tale, Nina.
Yeah, I know, but you'd have a higher chance of getting a hernia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have a higher chance of having a hernia too. I think it is true though. I think your matriz se te puede caer, but it's not very common.
Yeah, I think it is possible for sure.
But then my dad would be like, "Aren't like also you want to look like a man because all those women who take steroids and they start like growing extra muscles where they shouldn't be growing muscles." And I'm just like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm not on steroids. What the fuck?"
I'm like, does he know how hard it is to put on muscle already?
Yeah, I was like, it's really hard to put on muscle as a female because your body will fight against it so hard.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why you probably fall for them too, because as female, it's easier for us to gain weight. I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I think it's easier for us to gain weight than a man, especially like if you've ever done like a challenge with a man saying like, oh, let's challenge each other to lose weight. Men will lose weight like fast.
Because men usually have more muscle. Having more muscle, you burn more calories.
Yeah. Back on subject, guys. Um, Diet culture is a big pressure too from seeing people who are thin see being thin as being worth more than people who are sicker.
Mm-hmm. That is true. But also our society as a whole just tends to treat thinner people better.
Yeah. Like take like I think it's Hawaiian culture. Some like Samoans and stuff. They
Samoans.
yeah, they are thicker people and they love it and they're happy and the thicker you are, the happier you are, honestly.
Yes.
So it also depends on like culture. And then lastly, psychologically too, there's a big angle. Hope, control, belonging to society and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like bringing that back to like culture and or ethnicities, especially in I believe like China or Japan, there's not really a ton of
Mhm.
plus size people there. And they kind of look down on people who are plus size. And so if you've ever seen in Asia, they don't really have, like, plus size stores, and it's
Oh
harder
no.
for people to find clothes over there, so they're kind of more, like, forced to stay small.
It's true. I don't know if you've noticed too, like China, like not China, sorry, clothes from China, they say that they're I don't know, XL, 2X, 3X, whatever, but they're like more like a medium or a large.
Yeah, their sizes are, like, 2 sizes off from the US, but sizes are very different in Europe too, like or in Australia, where I believe I've seen, in Australia, 14 is a US size 10.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I don't know if it's the US specifically, but I think that the US definitely values thinner people more. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's changed a lot now, but like if you were plus size when you were like maybe back in like the early 2000s, it's way harder to find cute clothes versus now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now you have so many options. The only thing that sucks is that everybody still I don't know if they still do actually. I feel like it's more like leaving us again, the crop top phase. Like, for a
Oh,
while, it
thank
was
God.
so hard to find shirts. Even, like,
Yes.
the mid crop, they look cute on, like, thinner people. There I go, huh? Thinner people, not on me.
Yeah.
Because I don't need everybody seeing things that they don't need to be seeing every day. To me, I like a full-size shirt that goes a little bit, like, kinda, like, past my waist a little bit. Almost, like, hitting, like, a little bit lower than my hips. I like
Yeah.
to hide the fluff a little bit.
That kind of reminds me of this one girl on TikTok. She makes a series called Is It Stylish or Is She Just Skinny? And she basically tries to recreate the outfit and she'll like let the people be the judge if, you know, the outfit looks equally as good on her as it does on a skinny person. And I truly do think that, you know, sometimes skinny people, like I don't want to be mean, but things just look better on them
Oh,
versus
yeah.
when you're plus size because sometimes like you can literally just look like you threw a tent on yourself. And there's no other way to make it look any different because of how large you are. And that's just the truth. Like, kind of just don't feel as good in some outfits and you want to be fitting into society because you know they're dressing a certain way and you just don't look as good and so it just really takes a toll on your mental health,
Mhm.
which in turn can lead to binge eating, anorexia, bulimia, and you then that's like, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight, blah blah blah. Back to fad diets.
Yeah, and I think also on top of that, I feel like you should always dress to your body size. Like, I've always heard your clothes should fit you and not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, if your clothes don't fit you, then your clothes don't fit you, that's fine. Go buy more clothes or go find something
Yeah.
else that does fit. But, like, I've also, like, seen and I don't wanna be mean when I say this, but, I've seen people who are not wearing the right size in clothes.
Oh my
I'm not gonna tell
gosh.
people to their face because that's really mean, but can you find something that does fit you? Like, it just does not look very nice on you, you know? It looks like you're suffocating yourself. It looks
Oh
sad.
my
It looks so
gosh.
sad.
That's what I think about with fajas.
Yeah, I hate fajas too.
I understand, if you need to wear one for whatever your reason may be. I see a lot of people wear fajas when they've lost a lot of weight and they have a lot of loose skin because they need
Mhm.
compression. And then I've seen people wear fajas because they just want, like if they're wearing a bodycon dress and it needs to look more,
Snatched.
yeah, like I get that. But people who wear fajas on a daily, like because they want, that hourglass figure, I'm like, homegirl, you're literally squishing your organs
Mhm.
for a body type. Like, why?
Why can't we just be happy with what we have?
Because you always just want what you can't have.
I hate saying that though in public. I hate that people are gonna hear that. But like it's true, like people who are wearing their jeans too tight, their shirts too tight, like it doesn't look good. And I don't think they feel comfortable. At least I don't know, maybe to me they don't feel comfortable. And I feel like
Yeah.
you should feel comfortable. And if that doesn't fit you, then I'm sorry it doesn't fit you.
Yeah.
Find things that do fit you, that make you feel comfortable, that you're not squeezing into, every single day.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I don't know if it's just me, but I tried one time to wear jeans that didn't fit me, and literally I had the worst stomachache in the whole world the whole day. Like, I felt like poop.
You want to know something funny?
What?
So, this was, like, back when I worked, in the mall, and this was probably around the time that we stopped going to go see that nutritionist or that dietitian.
Mhm,
So, I think I was already, like, starting to gain some weight back, and I had these jeans, and they fit me, but they were kinda, like, tight in the thigh,
mhm.
but they were fine around my waist, and I was like, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." And I remember you can already imagine where the story is going.
Mhm.
I have to be so thankful it wasn't that busy, but I'm pretty sure someone saw. I was standing, and, like, there was this, like, little thing that had, like, guinea pigs in it that was open where
Yeah.
people could see them and, like, touch them, and then I was standing next to it, and I dropped something, and I went to pick it up, and when I went to pick it up, my jeans ripped at the back of my
Mm.
thigh, like, straight across, and I was like, "Oh my god," like, I went up and turned around immediately so that people wouldn't see, but there was, like, people who had just come in behind me, and I'm sure they saw, and I
Oh
was like,
my
"Oh
gosh.
my gosh," and then I just, like, booked it to the back, and my coworker was like, "Do you wanna go home and change?" And I'm like, "Duh, what do you think? I'm gonna walk around with ripped pants?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's why I've always been told always have a spare in your car, which I never do, but
Yeah. Best believe that was the last time I ever wore jeans to work and just went back to wearing my stretchy pants.
You know what? I wore leggings for such a long time, Nana. For like after high school, probably, or even 12th grade. I don't know. But from there up until I was like 27, 28, when I finally, 29, even the last like 2 years or so of my life.
Yeah.
Last year, I think, even. But I've been wearing jeans for the last year, maybe year and a half, little by little.
Yeah.
I love wearing my jeans now, and, like, I hardly wear my leggings. And I don't know how that happened or what's going on because I used to hate jeans because I always got that gap on the back where it would, like, hike up in the front, but on the back, it was loose.
Yeah.
But the front would be tight, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I get that for sure. Like, I think in junior high, I would mostly wear like track suits. And then in high school, I would wear jeans that were like capris, so they cut off like mid calf.
Mhm.
And then I think after that, that's when I got into leggings. And then I've always worn leggings, but then I always feel good wearing jeans. But I think it's also just like the process of actually dressing up just makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, that's true. So what are some healthier alternatives? Intuitive eating?
Intuitive eating, I do like, but I feel like that's for a more experienced person.
You have to have a good relationship with food.
Yeah, like, I would say I can't do intuitive eating because I would think that I'm doing okay, but then I probably wouldn't be losing, like, any weight.
You know what though? This last week, I kind of weighed myself and I was at a certain weight and I went like up and down like 2 pounds and now I'm back at that same weight. So it's kind of like almost as if I had been intuitively eating.
Yeah, because naturally you fluctuate between a few numbers.
Yeah. And all I was doing was I made sure I had like an all right breakfast, but I knew if I had a heavier breakfast, I just wouldn't have as much of a heavier lunch. And then I would
Yeah,
have a decent dinner. And then at the end of my dinner, I'd be like, okay, am I still hungry? Do I want a dessert of some sort? And if I
yeah.
did, I would grab something. And if I didn't, I felt fine, then I just didn't grab anything.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that you can do to make better choices. Like, the whole have a glass of water before you eat a meal,
Mm,
or, even like serve yourself on a smaller plate. And it kind of tricks your brain into thinking that you're having so much food when instead, if you would have served yourself on a bigger plate, it wouldn't look like a lot of food and you'd want to fill up the plate more so that you have a lot of food. But we tend to eat with our eyes a lot, and your eyes
yes.
are bigger than your stomach.
Not really, but you know.
Yeah, not really, but like you always think you can eat so much more than you think, and I believe your stomach is two
I don't know. I
fists.
think it's one fist and your brain is two fists.
Okay, so it might be. I thought this was your heart. I don't know. I don't remember what the size of your stomach is.
I think it is one hand because they say whatever fits in your hand.
But I've seen that the palm of your hand is the considered serving of protein. It's like 3 ounces.
It is? This is not 3 ounces, Nina. That is not 3 ounces. But everybody's palm is different.
Or they say if not that, then they say a deck of cards, and I'm like, "That's not a lot."
Okay, anyway.
But, like, there's a lot of things you can do, like, don't be a distracted eater or, sit at an actual table. Make sure that you are chewing your food enough, count the bites. There's a lot of little things you can do that will help you naturally eat less without you going crazy.
And then also focusing on taking in all the nourishments from foods and not restricting yourself as much. So I want to say like nourishment such as like make sure you're eating all your fruits, your veggies.
Mhm.
Like they say if you're craving something salty, it's because you're not having enough salt in your diet. So
Yeah.
when you're craving chips, craving stuff like that, and you're not a female going through her hormonal changes, more than likely you are missing something from your diet.
Yeah. That too, when you're craving sugars, you're craving carbs.
Hmm. Also, make sure you're doing more of a small, sustainable lifestyle changes versus an actual diet. So, if you don't really eat chicken, rice, and broccoli every day because you don't actually like that and you're just eating it to diet, then don't be eating chicken, rice, and broccoli every single day. If you
Yeah.
like chicken, but you don't like broccoli, then do something else. Do
Yeah.
chicken, asparagus, mushrooms with a little bit of a glaze, a little bit of a sauce, a little bit of some rice. That shit's bomb.
Some honey balsamic Brussels sprouts.
Ooh,
Chef's
yes.
kiss.
Like stuff like that. Make your own wings at home. Try something fun. Change up
Yes.
your eating so that you do eat a little bit better, but you don't feel like you're dieting.
Yeah, like, like on the wing topic, if you love wings, most of the time wings are fried, so that already adds extra calories. So if you put them in the oven or you air fry
Mhm.
them, that already is taking away some of the calories and you can still enjoy your wings and they're just as good.
And you can still put oil on them, but just so you know, they do drench them in oil. So if
They
you're gonna put
do.
oil, just put a little sprinkle, massage them in, put them in the air
Uh-huh.
fryer, and they're just as good as going to freaking. Actually, they're probably not as good as going to Wingstop, but like close second,
Equally as good?
probably.
I don't know, sometimes Wingstop gets a little stingy with their seasonings.
I don't know. I don't really go to Wingstop because I had a bad experience once, and never again.
You had a bad experience? Oh my gosh, story
Yes.
time. What is it? Tell me.
So when I do go, I only get bone-in wings because one time I got boneless wings and the chicken was very chewy, and I was like, "This is not how chicken should be tasting." So either it was undercooked or it was not chicken.
That's gross.
Exactly. So since then, I never eat, boneless wings.
I don't blame you. I would do the same.
Yeah, don't trust it. Unless it's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, I will eat them. Little chicken nuggets.
Oh, yes.
And then the last thing I kinda wanna say is, and I know I've said this before, and I know I always contradict myself because we say, "Oh, that food's not good for you. That food is bad for you." Food isn't good, food isn't bad. It's the
Yeah,
decisions that we're making that make it good and bad. It's our mentality on it.
for sure.
Like, you can have chips, it's not gonna hurt you, but you don't wanna have the whole bag.
Yeah, I think in that sense too, like, if you know you are a person that when you open a bag of chips, you're gonna be eating and, eat half the bag or the whole bag, you can do things to prevent that. You can simply open the bag of chips, pour it in a bowl, put the chips away, and only eat from the bowl. You
Mhm.
can buy the snack pack variety packs, where they just come in like the little 1 ounces
Oh, yeah.
and have your chips and you finished the bag, cool. You didn't eat a surplus. You enjoyed your craving, you ate your snack, and you're happy.
Yep, and that's how it should be.
I think eventually you can get to that point where you can control yourself. It's all just about control.
Mhm.
You kind of have to think about it this way. It's like, like let's say you want some chips and you want some, I don't know, some candy, but like you don't have to eat it all. You can eat some tomorrow. If
Exactly.
you like it so much, you can enjoy it over many days instead of just one day and then give yourself a stomach ache the next day because you don't feel good.
Mm-mm. That's me right there. And on top of that, I'm gonna say something that I do, but, like, if you're gonna open a bag of chips and, pour yourself some, that's fine, but if you have the bag with you, try not to be watching TV while you're eating them, because you get
Yeah.
caught up in the moment, and next thing you know, the whole bag is gone. Speaking from experience here, but,
Yeah, I've done that before too. Sometimes like I'm like just better off when I buy a bag, I intentionally will get a smaller size versus like the family size bags
Mhm.
because I know if I let myself, I can finish the whole bag. And so then I don't feel as bad if, I just get like a small regular size one instead.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, and I've done this before, and I would not recommend doing this, but I have. When I do eat chips, and I know, like, let's say it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm eating a bag of chips, and I finish the bag of chips, I will intentionally not have my next meal because I know I just ate a ton of calories that I shouldn't have ate. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, calories from chips and calories from sustainable food hits your body so differently. Calories from chips, you'll easily be hungry within an hour.
Mhm. Maybe not if you eat the whole bag.
I guess, but you'll be hungry nonetheless, and then you'll
Yes.
wanna eat more, and you're just like, "But I already ate all my calories and chips."
And that too, then you have to like go think about the mentality. Like, yes, you ate the bad meal, but your body still needs good nutrition. So
Mhm.
you still should allow yourself to have the good food when you can make better choices the next day.
Yeah, don't torture your body and starve it because it's just gonna be a bad habit, you're gonna keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Just to end, let's do a little fun part. Let's share a diet that we would never, ever, ever try from the ones that we read last time.
Ooh, for funsies. I know a diet that I would never try. The raw food diet.
For me, I would probably never try.
The cigarette one.
No.
The alcohol one.
Yeah, the drinking man's diet, I would never try that. I would just be scared that I would end up an alcoholic
Or in the hospital.
or in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, let us know which diet you guys would never try, which diet you have tried, and what do you do now? Do you still diet, or do you try to eat more nourishing meals without thinking of it as a diet?
Yeah. It's all about the lifestyle change, guys. So, in the end, it truly is a matter of making good choices.
Mhm.
It's a matter of listening to your body.
Not your eyes.
Yeah, you truly do have to listen to your hunger cues, your thirst cues. We gotta learn to really enjoy our food and not
Yep.
just scarf it down our throats because we're all trying to enjoy life. You don't see anyone scarfing life down their throat.
No, we're trying to stay as young as possible with all the Botox and stuff.
Exactly.
So just like you do with your skin, do with your health.
Take care of it. Nourish it.
You only get one body, guys. That's it.
Yeah, and especially like if you have kids, you also don't want them to suffer with food issues.
Mhm. If you take anything from this episode, let it be that you should always nourish your body.
Don't listen to random people who don't even know what they're saying.
Go watch Dr. Mike. He's awesome.
Don't listen to Doctor Now. He's crazy too.
I don't know who that is, so obviously I'm
He's
not
from
listening to
the
him.
My
But
600-Pound Life guy.
oh, all those reality TV shows where people are losing weight and stuff like that. You guys do know it's entertainment purposes. Don't take it as truth.
Unfortunately, at someone else's expense.
Unfortunately, it is on somebody else's expense because the whole My 600-Pound Life and the whole Biggest Loser, they were all at other people's expense trying to create entertainment for everybody else, unfortunately.
Yep.
So with that being said, guys, that's the end of the episode. And I really hope you guys learned something. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And I do want to make another episode similar to this where we go in depth into something else. And maybe that's what we do on our next one.
Maybe.
Yeah. So take care. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your physical health. And we shall see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.